Welcome to the new podcast, In the Garden with Susan. I'm your host, Susan Ladner. I will aim to bring you top quality information on how to save open pollinated seeds, grow a garden, and preserve what you grow. Every Wednesday, I'll be sharing practical tips and techniques to help you on your journey to food security. Join me as I preserve the abundance of produce that my garden provides. Learn new ways of putting food away for the winter and some old ways that are from another century. You can find this podcast on Shopify and at my website. Come on, let's go wander down to the garden and awaken the dreams, history, and love that is held inside every seed. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of In the Garden with Susan. And first, I would just like to apologize that I missed last week. I had everything prepared, all the research, and then my laptop broke and I can't get into it. The screen is down and I'm unable to even go into town to see if I can get it fixed because I can't leave the puppies. So I'm just sort of like stranded here. And anyway, it took me a good 3 days to get an old laptop with all my apps running again and finding all the passwords because you know how we're just used to clicking. So I had to do that, and then I was sort of at a loss because that took so long. And then I've been having seed orders come in, and I'm doing lots of seed trading. If anybody's interested, if they have some amazing varieties of rare heirloom seeds or even heirloom seeds, open pollinated seeds, I'm open to trading. So long story short, with the puppies and the seed orders and seed trades, and then trying to get an old laptop back into working order, I have not had very much time at all. And also the puppies some of them are so cuddly and they're wanting a little bit of attention. Well, some of them want a lot of attention and they want cuddle time. And so I've been spending a lot of time with the puppies. I spend a lot of time washing the sheets, and I boil them on the wood stove in a big canning pot. And so I've got the sheets hanging everywhere. So it's a full-time production going on in here. And then every time I thought I need to do this episode, it was like, but I don't have the research done. And I have it done now. And today we're going to be talking about arugula and beets. I think maybe the fact that I lost all the research I'd done before, this is going to be better because I'm going to go through the vegetables in alphabetical order. And if there's any new listeners here today that don't know what we're talking about, we're in a series right now that is looking at growing microgreen seeds for your own seed production, basically to save money and to have food security, just in case anything happens and you can't buy your microgreen seeds, you will have them there. And then also it just gives you a little more control over your food supply. And so what I'm going to be looking at are the open pollinated varieties that can be saved and will grow true to type if you put them in your garden. They can be varieties. Maybe you already have some microgreens at home that you grow, or maybe you go to the store and you buy a package of them. Well, you can take some of those seeds from that, grow them in the garden, and let them go to seed. And then you're going to have those seeds that you can grow next winter or wherever you want. So we'll be looking at that and all the varieties. I have a wonderful book here. It's one of my, well, I bought this last year and I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to open it up. And it's called The Seed Garden. And it is the art and practice of seed saving. And so this is from the Seed Savers Exchange. This is their amazing, it's just a beautiful book, beautiful photography. It's really well done. And I'll put the link for this down in the show notes that if anyone wants to go looking for it. I know I bought it off of Amazon. Like that's the only place I could find it that was affordable to get it up here in Canada. And I found out about this book because the Seed Savers Exchange was running a course on how to save seeds, and this was the textbook they used. And so I really wanted to grab it because there's nothing better when you're saving a seed that you don't know, just to open it up and check it out. And I have Seed to Seed by Suzanne Ashworth, and that is like the Bible of seed saving. That is an amazing, amazing resource for knowing how to save seeds. So we're going to look at every variety, talk about the different kinds that you can save, and then look at how to save them. So here we go. I'm so excited to finally be getting this into this because this is something I'm going to be doing. And the first thing we're going to talk about today is arugula. And it's also known as rocket. And it is a popular choice for microgreens because it is fast growing and it has a distinctive peppery flavor. I think arugula, you either love it or you don't. And I'm one of those people, I love it. And so there are several varieties that are particularly well suited for microgreen production. And I've got them classified into some different classes. The first is the common arugula varieties. And I'm not going to be saying Latin names. I think I will throw this information into a blog post. So if anyone wants to go, and because there's going to be a lot of information we're going through here, this might be a series that continues for quite a while. I'm going to try and pack more varieties into each episode. Today we're only looking at Arugula and Beets, but going back to the Latin names, they will all be, I'll put them down below in the show notes if you want to take a look at them. And it is important if you are saving seeds because the different species, they won't cross, but if it's the same species, you don't want to be growing them together because they will cross-pollinate. That is, if you want to keep your seeds true to type. So in the common arugula varieties, we have Bellezia Arugula, which is a slow bolting, open pollinated variety with a mild nutty flavor and tender leaves. There's Italian Arugula that is known for its classic peppery flavor, and this traditional variety is popular in Mediterranean cuisine. Runway Arugula, and this is a vigorous, open-pollinated variety with smooth, strap-like leaves and a mild taste. And Dragon's Tongue Arugula, which features striking purple veins and a robust, spicy flavor. There's also Slow Bolt Arugula, and this variety is favored for its resistance to bolting, making it ideal for microgreen production, and it offers a spicy flavor and rapid growth, typically ready for harvest in 6 to 8 days. And this is one of the most popular arugulas. Probably if you are growing it or you have a package of microgreen arugula, this might be the one you have. Then there is Roquette Arugula, which is a traditional variety known for its robust, peppery taste, and Roquette is commonly used in microgreen mixes and is appreciated for its quick germination and growth. And then there is Astro Arugula, and it is known for its milder flavor and smooth strap-like leaves. Astro is a popular choice for those seeking a less spicy arugula microgreen, and it matures quickly, making it suitable for rapid microgreen production. Then we have it. This is a different species. It's the wild arugula varieties. And so in your garden, if you wanted to grow a wild arugula for seed and a common arugula variety, you can grow those two varieties side by side because they're two different species, which is, for people who want to choose two different kinds. And so there is the Salvatica arugula, and it's a wild type with finely lobed leaves and an intense peppery taste. There's spicy wild arugula, which is an open-pollinated wild variety with extra heat and deep lobed leaves. And then we have Rucula salvatica perennial, and it's a perennial wild arugula variety that thrives in poor soils and offers a bold flavor. That's one I'd like to find. And then there is the Sylvetta wild arugula. And this variety has a more intense flavor compared to common arugula and features deep lobed leaves. And it is a bit slower to germinate, but it offers a distinct flavor profile. And I offer the Sylvetta wild arugula on my website. I saved that seed last year, and it is a perennial. The seed I have is a perennial. And so there are two that are specialty open-pollinated varieties, and the one is called Red Dragon Arugula, and this is a rare variety with red tinted leaves and a milder flavor profile. And if any of my listeners ever come across this seed, or they have some of this seed, I am open to trading that. I would like to find that variety. And then there's also the wasabi rocket. And it's similar to the wasabi arugula, but has a slightly different leaf shape and intensity of heat. And so when you're going to want to start your arugula microgreens, if you have you're going to start a tray of them, or what you can do is, what I would do if I was going to be saving these for the microgreen seeds is I would start them either in the garden or in their own little cells. That's how I would do it. Have even maybe a 72 cell tray and have your soil in there and put one seed in for each, and plant them out in the garden from that. That way you can space them properly. You don't have to, you're going to have to worry about weeds anyway, but you don't have to worry about losing them to the weeds because you will be putting them out a little bit larger. It'll be easier to know where they are and just keep a handle on the situation. But if you're going to be growing them for microgreens, and let's say you're growing a tray of arugula, and then you want to save some of the straggler seeds that either come up late, or as they're growing, you're going to take some of those plants out to save to seed. You do want to sow the seeds densely in trays for a uniform harvest. And the harvest time is within 17 to 14 days when the first true leaves begin to appear. And you want to ensure consistent light and water to promote tender, flavorful greens. And so you want to choose your variety based on how spicy you want it and what kind of visual appeal you're going for. And so we're going to go now to the seed garden. And we're going to look at now how to save. Going to look at how to save the seed. Here we go. So arugula is one of the easiest members of the Brassicaceae from which to save seeds. And I might have said that wrong. I'm not going to try and say it again. But anyway, and I did listen to on just a side note of how difficult I find it to say these Latin names. I looked up the pronunciation. There is that website that tells you how to pronounce it. And I listened to this over and over again. I was saying it, and so you know what, I said it wrong, and it's very simple to say, but of course that's just me. So the flowers of the arugula are attractive and edible, and retaining just a small patch of flowering arugula plants through the growing season, you can collect a sufficient amount of seeds from a small space. And so the seeds that you save from the arugula plants, if you store them properly, they'll last for up to 6 years, which is quite amazing. And then again, like I said before, wild arugula does not cross-pollinate with the common arugula. And an arugula seed crop should be sown so that the plants have enough time to produce a healthy canopy of leaves before high temperatures trigger flowering. Garden spacing for this crop varies widely by a gardener's individual preference of leaf size for harvesting. When a seed harvest is intended, arugula should be planted with appropriate 6 inches between plants in rows of 15 to 30 inches apart, or spaced a minimum of 10 inches on the center. Because denser plantings tend to bolt quickly, the population should be thinned to the appropriate spacing for seed saving while the plants are small. The perfect flowers are self-incompatible, and cross-pollination between genetically distinct individuals is required for successful fertilization. Arugula is pollinated by a variety of insects, including flies, wasps, and bees. Now, to maintain the variety, you're going to either want to just grow one variety to seed. Something to think about if you live in a densely populated area and you have a lot of people around you growing, or maybe even in a community garden. Sometimes when people grow arugula, it's going to bolt and go to seed, and they might just leave it there. You never know what's going to happen. So it's something to think about what's growing around you, because you do want an isolation distance of 800 feet to 1/2 a mile between varieties. And this is recommended if you want to save seeds of named cultivars and keep them true to type. And so arugula is self-incompatible, and growing a large population will help ensure a successful seed set. Although viable seeds can likely be collected from 5 plants, a larger population size is recommended to maintain a healthy variety over multiple generations. When saving seeds, a population size of 20 to 50 plants is recommended to conserve genetic diversity and prevent inbreeding depression. And it's not too hard to plant, 20 arugula plants in your garden. And now for the seed maturity and harvest. Most spring planted arugula seed crops will mature between early summer and early fall. They will ripen as you'll know they're ripe when the seed pods have turned a light brown and become brittle, and at maturity they are prone to shattering. The mature seed heads can be cut and piled onto row cover or landscape fabric in a location protected from rain to finish maturing and drying. The harvested material should be dried for about 5 days or until the seeds become too hard to dent with a fingernail. And for cleaning and storage, the harvested material can be threshed and placed on top of a tarp or in a large container and treading on it, or by rubbing the seed heads together between one's hands. If the pods are dry, they will release their seeds easily, and the seeds can further be cleaned by screening and winnowing. And now, of course, like I said, they will remain viable for 6 years if you store them properly, which is cool and dry. Now, the next variety we're going to talk about for microgreen seed growing are beets. And certain varieties of beets are preferred because they offer specific traits like vibrant colors, rapid growth, and some of them have consistent germination. So the reason why certain varieties like bull's blood or golden beet are chosen is because of their vivid red or yellow stems and leaves, and this will add an aesthetic appeal to dishes. Some varieties have a sweeter, less earthy flavor, which makes them more versatile, and Early Wonder is known for its quick and uniform germination, which is ideal for microgreen production. So you're going to sort of want to think about what are you going to be wanting from your microgreens when you choose the variety that you're going to grow out. And you can choose any type. Like if you have beets, you might have beet seeds right now and in your collection, or you can maybe go to the seed catalog or the store and buy a package of beet seeds. Technically, you can save those seeds and you will have microgreen seeds. You just might not get the same result for the color, flavor, and growth consistency. And so something that is interesting is heirloom varieties tend to be more popular for microgreens because they have traits that are specifically suited for microgreen production. Now, something I should also talk about across the board with all the seeds you're going to be using for these projects, you want to make sure that you're not using treated seed. Those will have chemicals on it, whether it's fungicides or herbicides or something. Usually those seeds are meant for large away from. Well, I want to stay away from it. Oh, hold on a second. I hope I'm still recording. I just saw something come across. Oh, no, I think I'm still recording. Okay, that was scary. We almost, it said that my internet connection wasn't stable and I thought we might go down. Okay, so we'll just quickly finish up here. Yeah, so for the beets, that's really the varieties there. You know, you have your bull's blood, your golden beet, and your early wonder. Those are usually the ones, but really it's going to be up to you what you have. I know for my microgreens, for the beet seeds, I have a really large package of the early wonder, and those grow really nice. And the bull's blood actually are very beautiful for the microgreens and even for growing in the garden because the leaves are so red and it just really adds a nice pop to your salads. Okay, now for saving the seeds, they're a biennial. And biennial species, they will require vernalization to trigger its transition from the vegetative to the reproductive phase. In order for this species to flower, plants must be subjected to temperatures below 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius for at least 10 weeks. The minimum temperature for beets is generally reported to be about -9 if you're going to leave them in the garden. So if you're living in a milder climate that doesn't get really cold, you can grow your beets out and then put mulch over top of them and leave them in the garden for when they're going to grow to seed. But for most places in Canada, myself included, I dig them up and I store them over the winter in a cool area, and then I go out and I replant them in the spring. And this also, digging them up, the thing with that is it gives you a chance to be selective, because you may want to, while you're going, you may not, or it's not you may want to, you will want to choose your nicest roots, and select the ones that you want to carry on those traits. To save seeds from beets in regions too cold for in-ground vernalization, gardeners should plan for plants to reach maturity around the time when they will be harvested for winter storage. Plants should be dug and stored before the first hard frost. If possible, beets should be dug when the soil is relatively dry, and then you don't want to wash them. Beet leaves must be trimmed down to just above the crown by making 2 or 3 diagonal cuts upward from the base of the leaf, from the base, which is your leaf stems, and the roots can then be stored in any ventilated container. Line the bottom of the container with wood shavings, then alternate each layer of beets with an inch of wood shavings or sand. And in the past, I've also used peat moss. One time I used old leaves because I didn't have anything else. And I mean, they worked. It didn't work very well, but it did work. And then you're going to make sure that you want to take any diseased or off-tight roots out before you store them. The optimal storage condition for beets is near 2 degrees Celsius or 35 degrees Fahrenheit, and with a 90% relative humidity. A traditional root cellar is ideal for this, but garages, sheds, and other unheated structures can be equally useful in some climates. The plants stored at optimal conditions can remain viable for up to 6 months or longer. First-year plants can be grown at regular garden spacing, and then after vernalization, the plants should be thinned or replanted with proper spacing for seed production, and this is 18 inches or 46 centimeters between plants in rows that are 36 inches or 91 centimeters apart. Planting in rows may make staking easier. Plants that were vernalized in storage can be replanted in the garden as soon as the soil can be worked. The plant's crowns should be positioned just above the soil line. They will have few, if any, expanded leaves at this point, and a light mulch of straw is recommended if hard frosts still pose a threat. Beet plants in flower can be more than 4 feet tall, and the flowering branches can become quite heavy as the seeds mature. Staking plants is recommended to keep the branches off the ground. Seeds usually develop by midsummer of the second season, and this is in North America that they do that. Beets are wind-pollinated, and plants produce inconspicuous small green flowers that do not attract pollinators. Each flower contains both male and female parts, but self-incompatibility is typical, and this species almost entirely outcrosses. So the wind-pollinated species has very fine pollen that is difficult to contain, limiting most gardeners to producing seed from just one variety of beets in a given year. The recommended isolation distance between beets is 800 feet to 1 mile. The fine pollen of beets can pass through mesh, rendering cages and blossom bags unreliable for containing pollination, and additionally, the species' indeterminate flowering habit makes isolation by flowering time equally impractical. Isolation distance is the most reliable method to maintain varieties of beets. Viable seeds can likely be collected from 5 plants, although 20 to 50 plants is the recommended population size for seed saving. The upper end of this range helps capture a variety's genetic diversity, since beets are prone to inbreeding depression, and it's also preferable if a garden intends to save seed. Once the seeds start ripening, they will almost always be a mixture of mature and immature seeds on the beet plants. Harvesting when approximately 2/3 of the seeds are brown is recommended. Individual seed stalks can be cut or entire plants pulled up from the garden and moved to a place where they can continue drying. And then they need about 7 to 14 days to dry after that. And so once you save your beet seeds, they are going to be good for around 5 years. Okay, well, there we have it. I hope everyone is learning a little bit about saving our own microgreen seeds, and we're also learning how to save seeds from these varieties at the same time. I'm going to continue on with my day now, and I hope everyone is enjoying the new year, and all the best in 2025 to everyone. I hope our gardens do spectacular in this year, and everyone must be dreaming about their gardens right now. I know I am. Even though I have so many seeds, I can't help myself. I'm I have to take a peek at many catalogs. I'm pouring through the Seeds of Diversity catalog. And if anyone that's listening is a Canadian or even American, anyone, you can join from anywhere in the world. You can become a member of the Seeds of Diversity for free. And there is a yearbook where there are many seed savers, and there are some amazing varieties in there. I must admit, I have spent a little too long late at night poring over some of the listings in there. It's incredible. And you can find this organization at seeds.ca. Okay, well, I hope to talk with everyone next week, and we will continue on with our microgreen growing series, and I will see you in the garden.
In my garden, dirt and dreams, planting hope beneath sunbeams. Arugula and beets I sow, for a future feast to grow. Little leaves sprouting fast, nurturing them till they last. Let them go to seed and then begin the cycle once again. Planning for the days ahead, microgreens to keep us fed. In the winter when it's cold, food security unfolds. Nutritious greens on my plate, a plan that won't come too late. From these tiny seeds will sprout all the things we care about. So we dig and we dream, life is more than it seems. Grow the roots deep and true, watch our vision come through. Planning for the days ahead, microgreens to keep us fed. In the winter when it's cold, food secure